3 o'clock, they're on their way in. Come on. Where's JJ? Okay.
I lost it.
Wow, there's a big group. Okay, I think that's the group. Good afternoon. I'm Jaime Esparza. I'm the United States Attorney for the Western District of Texas. This is my hometown, so it's a great excuse for me to come home. Especially good news to be able to make the announcement that we're going to make today. But I think this is my first press conference as the U.S. Attorney here in El Paso, and I have to tell you I'm especially proud to be able to do it. Earlier today, our law enforcement partners, many of the people that you see behind us, from federal, state, local, and tribal agencies, jointly executed a criminal street takedown in El Paso. So just to give you an idea of who's back here, certainly to my left is Bill Hicks, the district attorney. To my right is Towanda Thorn James, DEA special agent in charge. Britton Boyd, who's the acting special agent in charge for the FBI. And John Johnston here, who is with an assistant United States attorney here in the office. Mike Lane, ATF group supervisor. Where are you? I'll lose track of you all. Tai Kook Chow from HSI, the deputy SAC, special agent in charge. Samuel Cleaves, CBP's assistant director of field operations. Chief Scott Good, the United States Border Patrol chief, right over here in the corner. Captain Christopher Mulls, Texas DPS CID. Lieutenant Oscar Luna, Texas DPS Highway Patrol. Lieutenant Oscar Luna, Texas DPS Highway Patrol. Sergeant Samuel Magallanes, El Paso Sheriff's Department. Sergeant Jonathan Sullivan, El Paso Sheriff's Department. Commander Lawrence Lujan, El Paso Department, the PD, Major Crimes Division. Chief Robert Rojas, the Socorro Police Department. Chief Marcos Vargas, the Horizon Police Department. Constable Oscar Ugarte, I don't think I saw him here yet, but he's intended to be here, from the Constable's Office, Precinct 1. And I have not seen yet Chief Robert Martinez, the chief of the Isleta del Sur Pueblo Police Department. All of these partners and their agencies assisted us in this takedown that occurred today. Together, at all levels of law enforcement, we are working very hard in our communities to rid our communities of violent crimes, drugs, and illegal firearms. This operation was led by the FBI and DEA. Officers and agents apprehended 21 individuals today suspected of serious drug and firearm offenses associated with a local gang known as Chuco Tango. The Chuco Tango gang involves themselves in multiple areas of criminal activity. Firearm offenses, including possession of machine gun conversion devices. You might commonly hear them known as switches. But they also are involved in drug trafficking, including meth, cocaine, fentanyl, and heroin, as well as human smuggling and kidnapping. The individuals arrested today have been indicted here in El Paso, the Western District, and in El Paso County, and are charged with a combination of statutes related to possession with intent to distribute cocaine, methamphetamine, and fentanyl. And if I could for just a moment note how serious it is for us to be combating the sale and distribution of fentanyl. Fentanyl in this community is a real problem, just like it is across the state and the country. Protecting our communities and our loved ones from this dangerous drug and poison that is fentanyl is a priority for the Justice Department. Regarding the charges of those that were apprehended today, several have been charged with felon in possession of a firearm. Some of these defendants, if convicted, will face up to 20 years in prison or 5 to 40 years in prison. Some will face from 10 years to life in prison. Others will have to serve a minimum of 15 years. Their indictments were unsealed upon arrest today and can be obtained from the court and the clerk's office. A press release from my office will be published shortly and will identify each of the defendants and their charges. I don't have any further additional details regarding their particular cases at this time. In just a moment, you're going to hear from Special Agent in charge of the DEA, Towanda Thorn James, and also from Acting Special Agent in charge, Britton Boyd from the FBI, about their role, the DEA's role, the FBI's role in this important operation. But before I do that, I just want to take a moment to recognize that this was a large, complex operation that required many levels of cooperation. That's why this room is so crowded behind me. Along with the FBI and the DEA, this operation had the assistance of ATF, HSI, Customs and Border Protection, and the Border Patrol. Also, our state and local partners and their agencies, they assisted us as well. As I told you, to my left is the District Attorney, also DPS, the El Paso Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, the Socorro PD, and the Horizon PD, as well as the constables. Also, we had the assistance of our partners, our tribal partners from Isleta del Sur Pueblo, Tigua Police Department. Chief Martinez is a good friend, and they assisted us as well. I also want to recognize our prosecutor here in this office in the Western District, Assistant United States Attorney John Johnston, for his assistance in indicting these defendants and that led to the arrest today, and for the information and assistance he provides to law enforcement as they go about their business. All of these agencies contributed significantly to the success of this takedown. This operation in particular began in November of last year and spans the entire city of El Paso and beyond. But our law enforcement partnerships reach way beyond El Paso. In an unrelated case, this week, our partners at HSI led a similar operation with the help of DPS and the Uvalde County Sheriff's Office. And there, they arrested 15 gang-related subjects in Uvalde, in the city of Uvalde. Anti-gang efforts often take resources and cooperations from all levels. I know I'm going to repeat myself, but the reason there's so many behind me is because we cannot do it alone. Their partnerships are important and critical to what we do and to the safety of our communities. Some of the defendants in this large and complex operation are indicted both in federal and in state court. That's why both I'm standing here and District Attorney Hicks is standing to my left. So to speak about the indictments as they relate to the state charges is District Attorney Hicks. Yep.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Bill Hicks. I am your district attorney. I'm very honored to be speaking to you today. And most of all, I'm very pleased that we have this opportunity from the state to work with our federal partners, the U.S. Attorney's Office, Jaime Esparza, the U.S. Attorney, and all of our partners in the federal agencies. The cooperation that our state agencies have with the federal government and with our federal partners is a phenomenal operation and a phenomenal cooperation and partnership that has resulted in numerous arrests today and will continue to go forward, representing the strength that our law enforcement has in our community to fight criminal activity. In particular, there were several indictments that we have, not just today, but remaining outstanding with arrest pending for tomorrow. There are some, all of them are related to drug charges with one felon in possession charge. All of these charges will be zealously prosecuted in our office. I'm looking forward to continuing our cooperation with our federal partners and continuing the cooperation that we have with the U.S. Attorney's Office. This cooperation and these operations involving both state and federal law enforcement officials helps to make El Paso one of our safest cities. And moving forward, we continue to push these type of cooperation and these type of events in order to make sure that our community stands as a safe community. It takes law enforcement community and cooperation to make sure that we have the type of safe community that El Paso is known for. Thank you, Jaime Esparza, for your leadership, and thank you to the federal partnership that you have helped to establish and maintain. Coming out of El Paso as our former district attorney, you certainly understand and know the importance of the type of cooperation and leadership that you have in the federal government in cooperating with the state operations. And we certainly appreciate that and appreciate your continued leadership in the federal government cooperating with the state law enforcement officials. I'm going to turn this over to Acting Special Agent for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Britton Boyd, and he'll continue the press conference. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, District Attorney Hicks. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I am Britton Boyd, the Acting Special Agent in charge for the FBI in El Paso. And I'm proud to be standing here today with my partners to announce the results of Operation Rockwater, a large-scale multi-agency drug trafficking investigation. I'll brief you on today's general operation, and you also hear from my DEA colleague and counterpart, Special Agent in charge, Towanda Thorn James. This morning, the FBI, along with our law enforcement partners, represented by my colleagues here today, successfully executed 18 arrests and 3 search warrants in the El Paso and Las Cruces areas, specifically in El Paso, Horizon City, the city of Socorro, Anthony, New Mexico, and Las Cruces. These actions were all in support of federal grand juries issued in August. A total of 19 defendants were charged by the FBI with an array of federal crimes, including possession and distribution of fentanyl, methamphetamine, and cocaine, unlawful possession of firearms, aiding and abetting, and conspiracy. As of now, 1 fugitive remains at large, Carlos Flores. It's important to note that many of these federal subjects also have pending and state charges, as mentioned by District Attorney Hicks and U.S. Attorney Esparza. I want to make clear that our commitment to the community of El Paso does not stop today with Operation Rockwater, as we will not stop investigating and we anticipate future federal indictments. Approximately 200 federal law enforcement officers, personnel safely and successfully executed search and arrest warrants today. A significant number of these arrests were conducted by SWAT teams from the El Paso, Albuquerque, Phoenix, Las Vegas, and San Diego FBI field offices. The success of today's operation would not have been possible without our partners here today. I would like to thank all of our agencies mentioned by U.S. Attorney Esparza for their assistance in the investigations and the operation today. The FBI's criminal focus targets the overall leadership of gangs and criminal enterprises that drive violence in American communities. Our nation is making progress against violent crime, but it remains a concern for many of our communities. So know this, we in the law enforcement community cannot and will not rest in order to keep our communities safe. 4 years ago, the FBI and our partners at the Texas Anti-Gang Center, the TAG, launched Operation Rockwater and an OCDF investigation, targeting Chucotengo gang members who are violent criminals for trafficking dangerous drugs, poisoning the streets of El Paso and beyond. The gang is involved in drug trafficking activities, numerous homicides, assaults, robberies, and general street violence. Many of those charged today are facing significant federal sentences. To date, the FBI's portion of Operation Rockwater has resulted in 44 federal and state arrests, 65 drug seizures, including cocaine, fentanyl, heroin, and methamphetamine, 45 search warrants, 21 firearm seizures, the recovery of military-grade explosives, and the recent arrest of Artistas Asesinos gang member Michelle Angelica Pineda Lachelle, who was deported back to Mexico. The goal of this investigation is to impact violent crime in El Paso. While every agency here has its own roles, priorities, and responsibilities, fighting violent crime is the responsibility we all share. Thank you again to our partners, and thank you to FBI offices across the country and headquarters who assisted, but most importantly, the El Paso FBI team whose work today was shown throughout the community as a result of these arrests. And I will turn it over now to our partner, El Paso Drug Enforcement Administration Special Agent in Charge, Towanda Thorn James.
Thank you, Acting SAC Boyd. Good afternoon. My name's Towanda Thorn James, and I reported as the Special Agent in Charge of DEA's El Paso Division office in December of 2023. I have oversight for the entire state of New Mexico, as well as 17 counties in West Texas, to include El Paso County. I want to thank all of our media partners who are here today, as well as our federal, state, local, and tribal law enforcement partners. As previously shared, since October 2023, a multi-agency investigation into the organized criminal activities of the Chuco Tango Gang was initiated here in El Paso. This investigation was led by DEA, FBI, and ATF, and included several state, local, and tribal partners, as well as other agencies as part of the Texas Anti-Gang Program, also known as TAG. This joint investigation targeted gang members and drug dealers selling fentanyl, methamphetamine, cocaine, and illegal firearms on the streets of El Paso. The culmination of this law enforcement effort resulted in multi-count federal indictments in the Western District of Texas against multiple members and affiliates of this gang. DEA brought federal charges against 8 of those subjects. Operation Rockwater is just one successful example of DEA's robust strategy targeting the criminal drug networks who are responsible for profiting from American lives by pushing these powerful, illicitly made drugs into our communities. DEA will continue to leverage our partnerships to identify, disrupt, and dismantle criminal drug networks operating in El Paso, West Texas, New Mexico, and the entire country. And we will continue to harness all of our enforcement and intelligence resources to target those causing the most harm and to hold them responsible. To date, DEA's portion of Operation Rockwater has resulted in 2 search warrants that led to 6 federal arrests, plus 3 additional arrests today on unrelated state charges, 16 drug seizures totaling 15.1 kilograms of methamphetamine, 2 kilograms of cocaine, 1/2 kilogram of fentanyl, and 1 kilogram of THC cannabis marijuana contraband. Additionally, 5 firearms were seized, and there are 3 fugitives that are still outstanding. As many of you have heard me say in the past, fentanyl remains the deadliest drug facing our country. Nearly all of the fentanyl in the United States, including El Paso, comes from Mexico. Most of it is trafficked by the Sinaloa and Jalisco cartels. DEA's top operational priority is to defeat the Sinaloa and Jalisco cartels, the 2 drug cartels that are responsible for the vast majority of the fentanyl and methamphetamine that is killing Americans. With today's arrest, we're one step closer to that goal. Thank you.
We'll have an opportunity now for a few questions, if there are any questions.
Acting Special Agent Boyd, can you tell us a little bit more about the tie-in between the Shelley and the Chucotengo?
It's my understanding that with the help of the El Paso Police Department, they were able to, through jail phone calls, intelligence, were able to tie LaShelly communicating directly with Chucotengo gang members, which provided the lead for FBI, Border Patrol, El Paso PD, and others to actually locate her. And then through the United States Border Patrol, we're able to successfully deport her back to Mexico, where there are, we believe, 5 outstanding homicide warrants for her arrest.
Yes.
Can you comment on the immigration status of those that were taken into custody today? Were they in the country legally? Are they U.S. citizens or?
I don't know the answer to that.
It's my understanding that all were U.S. persons.
Yes, ma'am.
For the 3 fugitives still outstanding, what is your plan for capturing them or finding them?
So we're going to continue to, sure. We'll continue to pursue them until they are arrested. And if you take a look at the board to my right, those are the individuals that are still outstanding, 3 from DEA and 1 with FBI.
You all also mentioned law enforcement from Phoenix and Las Vegas. I mean, does the gang's tentacles, do they reach that far out west, or were they just cooperating on this to help y'all out? I mean, what is the connection between?
They came in from out of state to assist in the operation today.
Does the gang have a presence out there as well?
Step to the podium or respond.
Not to my understanding.
Okay, I appreciate the time that you took to come out so you could hear our announcement. But I have to tell you, I have no idea what your lead will be or how you'll name the story. But what I am extremely proud of, we don't do this often enough, but those behind me, El Paso Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, DPS, FBI, DEA, Border Patrol, everyone else, I didn't list them all, HSI, all of them are working constantly to make sure this community is safe. This was a long-term operation. It's not a one and done. And it took a lot of time and effort and coordination. We would not have been able to do that unless we had those partnerships. So before we came out here, I thank them for what they do. I have to tell you, I've lived in this community for a very long time. I'm proud of the fact that we are a safe community. It is a complex operation that requires just a huge amount of cooperation so that we can be successful. The Chucotengo gang is one of many problems we have, but we are slowly chipping away. And as Towanda mentioned, we are on the trail regarding fentanyl. It is a dangerous drug. It is a poison. You hear us with cocaine, meth, heroin, they are a problem. But we are very concerned about fentanyl. So we will stay on that as well. Do not let that message be told. We don't say that message enough. How dangerous fentanyl is and how it's increasingly becoming a problem in the country. We are on that. Again, thank you for your time.